Good morning and welcome to John Beck. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful Wednesday yesterday. Today is Thursday, February 6th, 2025, and it is a day D. For instrumentals, it's a day 6. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you, as I always do, to please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm so happy that you guys are here, whether it's physically or you're working at home because it happens to be snowing. Us coming together to do John Beck things means that our community has come together, and I love every single minute of it. We've got 450 amazing kids in our community, as well as amazing families. And for all of us to work together, we've got 3 expectations here at the school. Number 1, be respectful to yourself as well as to others. I love you and I like you just the way you are. And I hope that you like yourself just the way you are and in all the amazing ways you are growing. Give yourself that credit. And then pay it forward. Give that respect to your teacher. Give that same respect to your classmates and your friends. Number 2, show that you are responsible. Be responsible with the things that you can control. We can control our hands. We can control our feet, and we can control the words that come out of our mouths. And sometimes our hands can be used in hurtful ways. Sometimes our feet can be used in irresponsible ways. Sometimes the words that come out of our mouths can really cut deep. I had a good conversation with some 5th and 6th grade students about this. So let's be responsible with our hands, using them in only helpful ways. And the words that come out of our mouths, make them encouraging. Number 3, show that you're ready to be the best version of yourselves. And we've got the Super Bowl coming up, and I know a lot of you guys are Eagles fans. And if your team isn't doing well, you might not show the best version of yourself as you're yelling at the TV. But here in school, I want you to think about the best version of yourself and feed that wolf. Feed the wolf that represents you the best. There's many different versions. Find the one that represents you the best and feed it. So February is, as you know by now, Black History Month. And in the last 3 days, we have been focusing on the amazing story of Harriet Tubman. She was born into slavery in Maryland, and she escaped to the free state of Pennsylvania. And then we found out that slaves who were in Pennsylvania were no longer safe in 1850 when the fugitive slave law allowed slave catchers to leave Maryland and go into Pennsylvania and find them. By then, Harriet Tubman, a seasoned conductor, helped extend that Underground Railroad to our friends up north, a completely different country called Canada. They would take them into Ontario or Quebec and different parts of Canada, and therefore the Fugitive Slave Act would not apply. They would not allow those slave catchers into Canada. We've also learned that Harriet Tubman was an amazing soldier during the Civil War when the free states and the slave states went to war with each other. In 1863, Harriet Tubman became a war hero. She became the first female, girl power here, to lead men into battle. There was a rumor that down in South Carolina, there was a plantation that was full of hundreds and hundreds of slaves. She and 300 Northern soldiers of the United States Army, their president was President Lincoln. They followed the Combahee River in South Carolina, and then they attacked the plantation. And as they attacked the plantations, the slaves ran around, and Harriet Tubman, as well as the soldiers, got them onto boats and help them escape. That particular raid was an amazing raid, and some of the reporters who heard about that raid actually began giving her the nickname Moses. I'm not going to tell you why. I want you to think about it. And if you happen to go to church or you happen to go to Sunday school, perhaps you can make a connection to things that you've learned there. Why was that her nickname? All right, now after the Civil War, you would think that her life would become a lot more peaceful. And in some ways it did. There wasn't a war. However, even though she lived up north, ultimately in New York, she had to deal with people treating her poorly because she was still African American for the color of her skin. And then also because she was a female. In her older years, she fought for the right for women to vote. Can you believe it? Long time ago, if you were a girl and you grew up to be a woman, you were not allowed to vote for a president or anything. So she fought for the right for women to vote. She remained true to her trademark toughness. She was dealing with some head issues, and there was a surgeon who said, you know what, I'm going to do surgery on you. Maybe this might help. But that would mean that the doctor would have to cut into her head, into her skull. Nowadays, if you have that kind of surgery, they would give you anesthetics. They might help you fall asleep so you won't feel the surgery. All she did was she took a bullet and she put it in her teeth and she bit down on it. And when things hurt, she would just bite harder and harder and harder. But she remained awake and she did not allow the doctor to put her to sleep. And she felt every single bit of it. But what does that illustrate? Is that even as she was going into her 70s and 80s and 90s, she was a tough cookie. Last but not least, in 1913, Harriet Tubman passed away up in New York. By then, she was a hero to so many people, not only from her younger years freeing slaves, not only in her middle years as a soldier and as a nurse and as a top secret spy, not only because of her older years as she fought for women to be able to vote, but because she was an American hero. There were times when she wasn't treated right because of the color of her skin. There were many times, even after she was a hero, people didn't take her seriously because she was a woman, but she stayed steadfast and was always tough no matter what. Harriet Tubman is one of the ultimate American heroes. I wanted to share that with you. Tomorrow we'll take a break from story time, and then as we go into next week, I will share another series of amazing stories that spotlight the African American citizens in our history. I love you. I care about you. I'm here to encourage you. Go spread that message to other people. I can't wait to see you guys around. Have an awesome day. And as always, I like you just the way you are.